Hare Krishna, Kirti Sundari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Shall Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for giving a wonderful and beautiful association every day. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisance to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your warm welcoming and please for the very beautiful chanting. This is Preeti Vilasni Devidasi from Atlanta.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Shall Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and giving a wonderful and beautiful association. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada Salibhudev ki jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Ganravika Mat. Anita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and giving you a wonderful and beautiful association. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Gauranga and all the SML devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and your wonderful chanting. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Revati from Atlanta, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving a wonderful and beautiful association. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you all once again to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. I would like to share a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. If anybody calls for meetings and lecturing, we must charge. And if they want to hear free, they must come to our temple. Don't become cheap. My Guru Maharaj used to say, if somebody becomes cheap, then nobody hears him. Montreal, October 27, 1968.
We'll wait for Prabhu to join.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna and Happy New Year to all.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining, giving a wonderful associate. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Happy New Year to everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
I think his audio has to connect. We'll wait, Mataji.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I am on the call now. Sorry for the delay.
Hare Krishna, Hare. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sacipran Gaurahari Prabhuji. Prabhuji will be enlightening. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sacipran Gaurahari Prabhuji. Prabhuji will be enlightening us on Adi Khanda, chapter 13, verses 101 to 107. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Thank you for giving your valuable time and wonderful association. This morning we're very happy to have you on the call and waiting here eagerly to hear from you. Please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for the introduction and for giving me this opportunity to speak some Harikatha on this during this auspicious month of Kartik. Is my audio okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we'll start with our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Nama Eva Kevalam Kalovnas Devana Gatiranyata Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Krupa Tamham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of all the devotees who have joined eagerly to listen some Harikatha on this call, and my obeisances to all the devotees anywhere and everywhere. It's only by the mercy of devotees that we get to hear Harikatha. If it was not for Srila Prabhupada, none of us, at least I would not have been here. I would not have been on the path of bhakti. I would not have, wearing this tilak kanti Vaishnava attire, and also will not be able to gain any of the Vaishnava qualities, whatever little I have. So it's only by the mercy of devotees, pure devotees, that all of us are able to perform whatever little devotional service that we are doing. And we have to be very grateful for this. And especially in Kali Yuga, so much contamination, so many difficulties, every step there is difficulty. And we should, every day, we should be very grateful for having been given this opportunity to practice. And not only all of these opportunities, but Krishna also, he schedule certain events in our life, such as this Kartik month. For a devotee, every day is auspicious, every day is special. We celebrate the path of bhakti. We perform activities in the path of bhakti, and we are always happy. But additionally, Krishna gives this auspicious time on the calendar, such as this Kartik month, where we can perform more devotional activities and get more benefit, get more rewards, get more brownie points. So I hope and pray that all of you are able to perform your Kartik bhajan very nicely. And I beg and request all devotees to please pray for me also, so I can also continue to practice my bhajan nicely. So today we'll be discussing from the most important scriptures for us, Caitanya Bhagavat. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, while glorifying Vrindavan Das Thakur and the composition of Vrindavan Das Thakur, he says, Vrindavana Dasa Koile Chaitanya Mangal, Yahara Shravane Nashe Sarva Amangal. So in this material world, people look for auspiciousness in their life. They perform various pujas, they perform various austerities to get rid of inauspiciousness, to ward off inauspiciousness from their lives. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, very nicely, he gives us the solution. He says the easiest way to get rid of all misfortune, all inauspiciousness in our life is simply hearing Chaitanya Mangal, composed by Vrindavan Das Thakur. This book, Chaitanya Mangal, was later known as Caitanya Bhagavat, but this is a formula. This is a formula, like let's say, and also this Chaitanya Bhagavat is like a very sweet story. It is lot of philosophy is there. It's very easy to understand. Hare Krishna. Does anyone have a question? Somebody raised a hand.
Maybe it is by mistake, Prabhuji.
Okay, all right. So there's an easy solution for us, very easy to get rid of misfortune. Just by reading or hearing, not even reading, hearing Chaitanya Bhagavat, one can destroy misfortune from their life. It reminds me of one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is said, Avismrite Krishna Padara Vindayo Shinoti Apadrani Chasham Tanoti Sattvasvashuddhim Paramatma Bhaktim Gnanam Cha Vijnana Viraga Yuktam. In this verse, it is explained that just by remembering Krishna, just by remembering the lotus feet of Krishna, one can get rid of all obstacles in one's life. Any misfortune, any inauspiciousness, all of it can be removed just by remembering Krishna. Not only that, one can actually purify one's heart. See, our existence in this material world is mainly because of the impurities in our heart. And like Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Mahaprabhu says in Shikshashtakam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, the holy name cleanses the dust that has been accumulated in our heart for millions of lives. So by remembering Krishna, by remembering the holy name, by chanting the holy name, we can get rid of all misfortune from our life. So similarly, another solution that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says is that by hearing Chaitanya Bhagavat, we can get rid of all misfortune from our life. And then he also says, Chaitanya Nitayera Yate Janiye Mahima, Yate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhantera Sima. Another glorification. He says that by reading Chaitanya Bhagavat, one can understand all the glories and truths of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And then what happens by knowing the truths? One can come to the Krishna Bhakti Siddhantera Sima. One can come to the ultimate conclusion of Krishna Bhakti. The performance of devotional service to Lord Krishna. What is the ultimate conclusion? That we can understand by reading Chaitanya Bhagavat, by knowing the glories and pastimes, the truths of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu, we'll be able to get to the ultimate conclusion of bhakti. And then finally, one more verse. Vrindavana dasa pade koti namaskar, aiche granta kari teho tarila samsar. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Vrindavan Das Thakur has done a great act by giving this book, Caitanya Bhagavat. He has given us a process of deliverance from this material world. How to liberate ourselves from this material world is easily possible by reading, studying, understanding, hearing this Caitanya Bhagavat. And because of this, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is offering millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. So with that brief glorification of Caitanya Bhagavat, we will continue our discussion. We know Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared in this material world. There are several reasons that are given, but primarily one of the topmost reason is to give Krishna Prema. If it was not for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the process of attaining Krishna Prema is very, very difficult. It's impossible, almost impossible. And prior to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know the movement of bhakti was very sparse, very rare. The devotees were very rare. It was not being practiced far and wide. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he made this process very easy, specifically by giving the process of chanting. And Mahaprabhu has performed various pastimes, lots of pastimes, millions of pastimes. And through each of his pastimes, Mahaprabhu has embedded many lessons. Mahaprabhu has given us many lessons for us to learn, and by learning which we can perform our bhakti properly in the right way, and through that we can be the recipient of Krishna's mercy. So in the path of bhakti, mercy is very, very important. And actually, mercy is everything. In a way, if you look at it, mercy is everything. Without mercy, we cannot do anything. We may be performing our bhajan, chanting, austerities, vratas, whatever, whatever activities we are performing in the path of bhakti, it is only by the mercy of Krishna. If Krishna's mercy is not there, we cannot do anything. But our acharyas explain that to receive that mercy, how do we receive that mercy? We receive that mercy by putting our endeavor, by showing our sincerity, by becoming strict in our sadhana, by practicing regularly and a regulated sadhana. This is how we show our interest, our dedication, our sincere endeavor to Krishna, and Krishna, seeing our endeavor, when he is pleased, he will give us mercy. It is not that, so there's two ways to look at it. It is not that endeavor will definitely guarantee mercy. Okay, it is only when Krishna is pleased, he gives the mercy. And again, it is not that Krishna is forced to give mercy. There's no real rules, the standard process is we perform our endeavor and Krishna sees our endeavor and he gives the mercy. But Krishna can give mercy even without our endeavor also. And he may not give mercy even without endeavor. But Krishna, we know, is very, very merciful. He is an ocean of mercy. So even we perform very little bhajan, he gives us immense mercy. We can look at our lives only in the past, how we were and what a transformation happened in our life just by practicing bhakti for a short period of time. So we can only imagine if we become more serious, more sincere and stronger in our bhajan, in our practice of bhakti, we can reap more benefits. We can see more bliss in our bhajan. So, and in this process, the most important thing is to chant in all of the various limbs of bhakti that are available. The most important is to chant, and Mahaprabhu instructs us to chant in a humble. We have to become humble and tolerant, and then we will be able to chant properly. In this pastime of Digvijay Pandit, pastime of Mahaprabhu with Digvijay Pandit Keshav Kashmiri, we understand that we should not seek glorification. We should not look for glorification. We should not look for honor. We may have so many talents, and naturally, devotees, being kind, soft-hearted, they will glorify us. They will give us some honor. But we should not look for honor from others. If it comes on its own, then it is okay. We just receive and pass it on to our Guru and our Guru Parampara. But we should not go around looking for glorification or honor, expecting honor from others. That is not the mood of our acharyas, our parampara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the Shikshashtakam, which we all know, specifically the third verse, he instructed, Thunadapi sunichena taroriva saishnuna amani namana dena kirtaniya sadahari. So we know this process of chanting is very important. So how can we chant? How can we chant continuously? Krishna says, Satatam kirtayanto mam, ananyas chintayanto mam. So various ways Krishna says, think of me always, glorify me always. And for Kali Yuga specifically, the only way we can do that is by chanting the holy name. And Mahaprabhu gives us a formula how we can do this constantly. Mahaprabhu says, Thunadapi sunichena taroriyo saishnuna amani namana dena kirtaniya sadahari. How can we do sada kirtan? Or how can we do kirtan always? That is by imbibing these two. Thunadapi sunichena taroriyo saishnuna. We should be very humble and we should be tolerant. By having these two, imbibing these two qualities in our life, we will be able to chant constantly. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, while instructing Arjuna, for the sake of all of us, Krishna says, while describing the qualities of knowledge, Krishna says two things. He starts off, he starts off with two main things: Adambitvam, Amanitvam, and Adambitvam. So these two are very, very important. Amanitvam refers to humility, and Adambitvam refers to pridelessness. So Srila Prabhupada, in the purport of that verse, he says that humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Srila Prabhupada is saying that we should not seek honor, we should not seek glorification, and we should not be anxious to be satisfied by others' glorification. We should not look for glorification. If it comes on its own, that's a different story. But we should not go around seeking glorification or expecting honor. We should not have that attributes. If we are having such feelings in our heart, then there is something wrong. We are not practicing our bhajan properly. We should go deep in our etiquette, Vaishnava Achar, Vaishnava Sadachar, qualities, and that's when we can perform our bhajan nicely. We cannot do negative things. We cannot take bath and then throw dirt on our body. It does not keep us clean. It's like that. So with that, we will start reading from today's verses. Caitanya Bhagavat, chapter 13, text 101 and 102. Apane ananta chatur mukha panchanana Ya sabara drishtehaya ananta bhuvana tara opayena mohayara vidyamane kon chitra se viprera moha prabhu stane. Lord Brahma, Lord Ananta, and Lord Shiva create, maintain, and annihilate innumerable universes. When even they are bewildered before the Lord, then what is surprising if this Brahmana was bewildered? Very nice. So here, Panchanana refers to Lord Shiva. Chaturmukha refers to Lord Brahma. So in this verse, Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that Brahma, when Lord Brahma, Ananta, and Lord Shiva, who are the top personalities of this world, who take care of creation, maintaining, and annihilation of these universes, when they are bewildered before the Lord, then what is surprising? If this Brahmana, Digvijay Pandit, is bewildered. So this purport is very long. I will not read the entire purport. I will just speak certain points from the purport. So we know Ananta Shesha, Lord Ananta, is the first incarnation of the Lord. And it is explained that he has 1,000 faces, 1,000 hoods. And Lord Ananta has been describing the glories of the Supreme Lord from time immemorial. We don't even know when Lord Ananta started. He's been describing the glories of the Lord since time immemorial. He's been describing. However, he has not been able to reach the limit of describing the qualities of the Lord. So this is how Ananta is bewildered. Lord Ananta thinks that he is able to describe all the glories. He's about to complete describing the glories, but he's not. As soon as Lord Ananta describes one glory of the Lord has performed hundreds of pastimes in millions of universes. So that is how Lord Ananta is bewildered. And then coming to Lord Brahma, we know, we have all heard Brahma Vimohan Lila, how Lord Brahma, once observing the activities of Lord Krishna, the miraculous activities, killing of Agasur, killing of various demons, all of these activities, when Lord Brahma witnessed, he was bewildered. He was astonished. He was thinking, who is this little boy Krishna? How is he killing all these demons? Maybe he's just a mystic. So let me show my own power to Krishna. Krishna is thinking he's the greatest mystic. So let me show my power to Krishna. Let me show how great my mysticism is to Krishna. And thinking like this, one day Lord Brahma, he came, he observed what Krishna's daily activities were. He saw that Krishna was daily taking his cows, his calves for grazing along with his cowherd friends. So one day, Lord Brahma, thinking of showing his mystic power to Lord Krishna, he came and he kidnapped, he abducted some of the friends of Krishna and the calves of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam explains that just by doing this, Brahma got entangled. So the lesson that we can learn from here is, in this material world, as we perform activities, we get entangled. If we perform activities for our own benefit, for our own pleasure, for our own satisfaction, thinking that we are the karta, thinking that we are the doers, then we become entangled. We become entangled in the cycle of birth, death, old age, disease. We fall under the control of the three modes of material nature, under the control of Maya. So but instead, if we perform the activities for the pleasure of Krishna, keeping Krishna in the center of our lives, understanding that we are not the doer, but Krishna is the doer, understanding that we are the instruments in the hand of Krishna, then we will not be entangled. Then we can easily get out of the clutches of Maya. We can easily get out of this ocean of material existence. So when Lord Brahma, he did this act of kidnapping or abducting the friends and calves of Krishna, he became entangled. And you know, Brahma is the topmost personality in this material world. But even he got bewildered, he got entangled. And Krishna, acting as a little child, he came searching for the friends and calves, and not seeing them. For a moment, Krishna also acted as if he was, bewildered. But it is all Krishna's pastimes. And then Krishna immediately understood that this is the doing of Lord Brahma. This is a work of Lord Brahma. And immediately he decided to teach a lesson to Lord Brahma. He wanted to give pleasure to Lord Brahma. Bhagavatam explains that Krishna wanted to give pleasure to Lord Brahma. Krishna wanted to give pleasure to Lord Brahma. Krishna wanted to give pleasure to the mothers of all the cowherd boys. And also Krishna wanted to give pleasure to the mothers, the parents of the cowherd boys. Krishna wanted to give pleasure to Brahma, the cowherd parents, and the cows. Go Brahmana Hitayacha. So with this desire, what did Krishna do? Krishna expanded himself into multiple forms. He expanded himself into various calves and various cowherd boys. Whoever Brahma abducted, Krishna expanded himself into all of these forms. And then in the evening, Krishna and all the calves and cowherd boys, all of them returned back to their respective forms. Now, Krishna has divided himself into various calves and cowherd boys, right? So what happened, it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam that initially, previous to this pastime, all the gopis loved Krishna more than their own children, more than their own sons. Even the cows also loved Krishna more than their own calves. But after this incident, suddenly the gopis and the gopas developed more attachment to their own children, to their own sons. They had more affection. Same way with the cows also. The cows also started loving their calves more than Krishna. Although the inhabitants of Rajabhumi loved Krishna more than anything else, more than their own life. But suddenly, the affection to their children started increasing. And they could not understand why this was happening. But Krishna knew this is because they were actually loving Krishna only, because Krishna expanded himself into the cowherd boys and the calves. So after a year passed on this earth, Lord Brahma returned, and it is explained that in the Bhagavatam, it is explained that it was actually only a moment for Brahma. After a moment of time passed for Lord Brahma, he came back. He came back to see. He thought that Krishna will be crying. He thought that all the Vrajvasis will be crying. All the cows will be lamenting because they lost their children. And Krishna lost his friends and calves. So Brahma thought that they will be lamenting, they'll be crying, they'll be in misery, they'll be in a sorrowful state, that they lost their friends and calves and children. But then when Brahma came back, he saw Krishna playing with all his friends and calves. The same friends and calves that Brahma kidnapped or hid by his mystic powers, the same children were there, the same calves were there. Then Brahma got bewildered. Brahma went back and saw if all the boys and calves that he kidnapped were still there or not. But Brahma saw that they were still there. Now Brahma was bewildered, totally amazed and totally surprised and totally confused and bewildered. And Brahma thought, all the boys and calves that I have kidnapped, they are still sleeping because of my mystic power, because of my mystic potency. But here I see the same number of boys and calves, same exact boys and calves here. And they look same as the ones that I have kidnapped. Who are they? Where did they come from? This, thinking like this, Brahma got bewildered. And after he thought for a long time, Brahma could not understand what was going on. Then coming to the end of the story, then we know how Lord Krishna blessed Brahma to understand what was happening. Krishna showed his potencies, his various potencies to Lord Brahma. And then Lord Brahma fell at the feet of Lord Krishna and begged forgiveness. So this is how Lord Brahma got bewildered. And then coming to Panchanana Shiva, the Lord Shiva. Panchanana, it is we know how Lord Shiva, after hearing about Mohini Murti, Lord Shiva also had a desire to see this beautiful form of Lord Vishnu as Mohini Murti. And Lord Shiva approached Lord Shiva, along with Mother Parvati, approached Lord Vishnu and requested Lord Vishnu to show him the Mohini Murti. But as soon as Lord Vishnu manifested this Mohini Murti, we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva immediately he got bewildered. Immediately he got attracted to this beautiful form of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Shiva even forgot that Mother Parvati was next to him, and instead he started chasing Mohini Murti. So we see how great personalities like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Anantasesh, they are all bewildered. So in this verse, Vrindavan Das Thakur says, what to speak? So if such great personalities, greatest controllers of this universe, material world, if they are bewildered, then what to speak of insignificant living entity such as this Digvijay Pandit? In the purport, there is also mention of other demigods, other great personalities, how they were bewildered by Lord Vishnu. It is explained that Lord Vishnu once appeared in the form of a Yaksha, and he bewilders Agni, Vayu, and Indra. I won't go into the past time, but Agni, Vayu, and Indra and other demigods, they were just simply very easily bewildered by Lord Vishnu, who appeared in the form of a Yaksha. So this is the power of Lord's Maya. It can bewilder even the greatest personalities, greatest controllers of this material world. Kapila Muni, while instructing Mother Devahuti on the path of process of devotional service, he says, Madbayat vati vatoyam suryas tapati madbayat varshatindro dahati agnir mrutyus charati madbayat. Sri Kapila Muni, he says, Madbayat vati vatoyam, by my fear wind blows. I'm saying this verse because in the purport, Yaksha, he bewilders wind, fire, and Indra. So that's why I wanted to mention this verse, that Kapila Muni, he's saying that by my fear, wind blows. And then Surya Stapati Madbhaya, sun shines by my fear. Out of fear of me, sun shines. And then Varshatindro, Indra, he rains, he sends rain. Why? Because of fear of me. And then Dahati Agnir, fire burns. Why? Out of fear of me. And then finally, Kapila Muni, he says, Mrutyus Charati Madbhayat. Death goes about taking its toll. How? Why? Because out of fear of me. So this verse explains the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. The supremacy of the Supreme Lord. All of the controllers of this material world, they're all acting simply under the direction of the Supreme Lord. They don't have individually, they don't have any power. This Yaksha, who is Lord Vishnu, he puts a grass blade and he asks fire to destroy, fire to burn that grass. One single blade of grass. But fire, Agnidev, he utilizes his entire potency, fire potency, but he cannot even wilt the blade of grass. Forget about burning. Forget about converting into ashes. He cannot even wilt the blade of grass. Same way with wind, same way with Indra. They cannot do anything to this simple, lowly blade of grass. Because they don't have any power. All of their power comes only from the Supreme Lord. And here when the Supreme Lord himself is asking them to exhibit their power, because they thought whatever they had, it's their own power, they were not able to do anything. Okay, so these are all examples how, great personalities, they are also bewildered by the potencies of the Supreme Lord. So hearing all of this, we have to understand how insignificant we are, how powerless we are, how dependent we are on the Supreme Lord. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that whatever ability a man has, it is coming from Krishna. So knowing all of this, we should never develop pride in our heart. We should never develop ego in our heart, ahankar. All of these qualities, we should subside. We should get rid of them. So all of these are negative examples, how great personalities are bewildered. But there are examples in our scriptures of devotees who are fully surrendered and were not bewildered by the Lord's Maya potency. The greatest example is Srila Haridas Thakur. In the life of Haridas Thakur, we know Haridas Thakur has gone through so many difficulties, or at least what we perceive as difficulties and obstacles in his life. We know how when Haridas Thakur was in Benapol, Ramchandra Khan, who was the local administrator, he was envious of Haridas Thakur, and just to bring down, just to cause the fall down of Haridas Thakur, just to bring defame Haridas Thakur, Ramchandra Khan sends a prostitute to cause the deviation or fall down of Haridas Thakur. But we know by the mercy of Haridas Thakur, even the prostitute got delivered. But what happened? Ramchandra Khan, because of his Vaishnava aparat, because of the offense that he committed at the lotus feet of Srila Haridas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu curses Ramchandra Khan, and we know how Ramchandra Khan destroyed very soon after that. And Haridas Thakur from Benapol, after this incident, Haridas Thakur left that place and he went to Chandpur. And in Chandpur, he was staying at the house of Balram Acharya. And we know there he was glorified, and he was invited by Govardhan and Hiranya Majumdar. And Haridas Thakur often he used to speak in their congregation. And once we know how when Haridas Thakur was glorifying the holy name, was expounding the glories of the holy name, was narrating, describing the glories of holy name, a Brahmana boy, Gopal Chakravarti, he did not like what Haridas Thakur was saying, and out of arrogance, out of his impudence, he spoke very criticizingly towards Haridas Thakur. He offended Haridas Thakur. And we know because of this offense, what happened? Gopal Chakravarti contracted leprosy very soon. Haridas Thakur again, he left that place and he went to Advaita Acharya. And there he was staying in a cave on the banks of Ganga. And here he was tested by Maya Devi herself. So Maya Devi, it is explained that she came in a very beautiful, enchanting form, and she was exhibiting various postures to deviate, to attract Haridas Thakur, to bewilder Haridas Thakur. And our scriptures explain that Maya Devi, she could bewilder anyone in this material world, but Haridas Thakur was not bewildered. Why? Because Haridas Thakur was absorbed in the thoughts of the Supreme Lord. He was absorbed in the chanting of the holy name of the Supreme Lord. Because of this absorption, Haridas Thakur was not distracted by Maya Devi. He was steadfast. He was completely immersed in his meditation. He was not bothered by Maya Devi. In the Shikshashtakam, in the first verse specifically, the first verse of Shikshashtakam, it talks about 7 glories of the holy name. And each of these glories actually help us overcome 7 obstacles on the path of bhakti. This is explained very nicely in Harinam Chintamani. So the second obstacle on the path of bhakti is the difficulties of this material world. It can be difficulties because of our own body and mind, Adhyatmika Klesh, Adibhautika Klesh, Adidaivika Klesh, or any difficult circumstances of this material world. So Shikshashtakam, it is explained, Mahaprabhu explains in Shikshashtakam that Chetodarpana Majanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvaparam. This Mahadavagni, Bhava Mahadavagni is the second obstacle in chanting of the holy name or in the process of bhakti. This is the second obstacle. And Mahaprabhu explains that this Harinam, chanting of the holy name, actually helps us destroy or helps us nullify this Bhava Mahadavagni. How does it do that? Our acharyas explain it in detail, but I will briefly narrate. He says that the holy name, as we chant the holy name offenselessly, it gives us ruchi. It gives us taste. And when we get taste, we are so absorbed in the holy name that the external difficulties do not bother us. Same way here, Haridas Thakur was so absorbed in the holy name that he was not disturbed by Maya Devi. Externally, Maya Devi was trying to cause so much distraction in various ways. But Haridas Thakur, since he was so much absorbed in his bhajan, in his chanting of the holy names, that he was not at all disturbed. And not only that, after 3 days, Maya Devi herself surrendered at the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see that Maya Devi requested Haridas Thakur to initiate her in Krishna Nam. Maya Devi says that previously Lord Shiva initiated me in the chanting of the Ramanam. But she said Ramanam can give liberation, but I want Krishna Nam, which can give pure love of God. I want pure love of God. So, oh Haridas Thakur, you please initiate me in Krishna mantra. And Haridas Thakur, being very merciful, he initiated even Mahadevi in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, seeing all of these, pastimes, we understand that Maya is very powerful, and it is very easy to get bewildered. Especially for us, we are not pure devotees. We are not even devotees actually. We are only sadhakas. So for us, it's very easy to get bewildered. We have been living in this material world for millions of lifetimes. So we have all the contamination in our heart. Chetodarpana marjanam has not happened yet. The cleansing of our heart has not happened yet. So it is easy for us to get bewildered. So how do we protect ourselves from getting bewildered? The solution is chanting of the holy name. And especially for this Kali Yuga, in this Kali Yuga, the only protection, the only shelter is the holy name. There is no other process. We know there are 64 limbs that Srila Rupa Goswami has listed, 9 limbs that are given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5 limbs that Mahaprabhu has specifically highlighted. All of this culminates, all of this finally Mahaprabhu highlights, holy name is the only shelter. Harinam is the only shelter. Mahaprabhu also said in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Nama Vinu Kalikale Aranahi Dharma Sarva Mantra Saranam Ei Shastra Marma. In Kali Yuga, there is nothing else other than holy name. Nama Vinu Kalikale Aranahi Dharma. The religious occupations, whatever we choose, whether it can be Shravanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, whatever it is, whatever limbs that are available, the only shelter for Kali Yuga is Harinam, the holy name. That is the only religious process that can guarantee complete perfection. And this is what all Shastras, the purport of all Shastras is this holy name. And the essence, Sarva Mantra Sara, the essence of all mantras, all Vedic hymns is holy name. There's nothing else. So, being followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being part of this Gaudiya Sampradaya, we should take to the process of chanting very sincerely. We should chant with respect, like Srila Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Instruction, verse 7, we should chant with respect. Kintu Adarad Anudinam. We should chant with respect. And Anudinam, with regular chanting and regulated chanting. Once I was speaking to His Grace Hariparshad Prabhu, and he was instructing me on this point. He was saying that Adarat and Anudinam, these are important aspects in our chanting. So we should practice, we should improve our chanting. And this is the only thing that will guarantee success for us. Anything else will take time. It's not that the other limbs will not guarantee success. They also guarantee success, but they will take time. But chanting is the very easiest process. And one more thing is, it is not that only Gaudiya Sampradaya or only ISKCON emphasizes on chanting. Even other Sampradayas also emphasize chanting. Even Goswami Tulsidas also says that by chanting the holy name, we can ensure success in all directions. Okay, so like this, it is not ISKCON specific, it is there in all Sampradayas. Any Sampradaya that you take, we see that they also emphasize chanting. So all of us, we should take to the process of chanting very sincerely, very seriously, and improve our bhajan. We'll go to the next verse, verse 103. Lakshmi Saraswati Adi Yata Yogamaya Ananta Brahmande Yasabara Chaya. Unlimited universes are bewildered by Maya, the shadow of Lakshmi, Saraswati, and other internal potencies of the Lord. Verse 104. Tahara Payena Moha Yara Vidya Mane Ata eva pache seta kena sarva kshane. Yet she is also bewildered in the presence of the Lord, and therefore she always stands behind him. So we just saw in the pastime of Haridas Thakur with Maya Devi, how Maya Devi could not bewilder Haridas Thakur. And actually Maya Devi herself got bewildered because she was thinking, I can bewilder anyone. What is there? This Haridas Thakur is he looks like a mendicant. He has no power, no potency. He's thin, he's old. It should be very easy to bewilder him. But Maya herself got bewildered. She tried so much. It is explained that she tried all her potencies, whatever capacity she had, whatever tricks she had. She tried, but she could not bewilder. Instead, she only got bewildered and she surrendered to Haridas Thakur. So, when a devotee himself can bewilder Maya, what to speak of the Lord? The Lord can easily bewilder Maya. Maya is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Even Lord Brahma says this, that Maya is the shadow, Chaya. Maya is the shadow of the Lord's potencies. So, so Maya is definitely bewildered. Maya is the shadow of the Lord's potencies. And Srila Prabhupada explains that Maya is working only to please the Supreme Lord. Whatever Maya is doing, bewildering all the living entities in the material world, it is only to please the Supreme Lord. That is her task, that is her duty. And she's executing her duty only to please the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada says that Maya's job is thankless. And she's doing that only to please the Supreme Lord. We'll go to next verse. 105. Veda karta shesha omoha payaya stane yara stane kona chitra digvijayi mohavata hane. When the compiler of the Vedas and even the Sesha are bewildered in the presence of the Lord, then what is surprising if the Digvijayi is bewildered? See, all of these verses, they're all centered on this concept of the Digvijay Pandit being bewildered. So all of these verses are emphasizing that Brahma is bewildered, Anantasesh is bewildered, Panchanana Lord Shiva is bewildered. In this verse, it is said, Vyasadev, compiler of the Vedas, is bewildered. Anantasesh is bewildered. So when all of these great personalities are bewildered, what to speak of this Digvijay Pandit? He's insignificant. He's insignificant. We know in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see how Vyasadev, after compiling Mahabharata, Puranas, Vedas, he was still not satisfied. He was kind of bewildered. Why? Because he did not glorify the Supreme Lord. This he comes to know when Narada Muni, he instructs Vyasadev. So Vyasadev is also bewildered. And then here again, the Anantasesh, bewilderment of Anantasesh was mentioned in the verse 101 and 102. And again, it's mentioned in this verse 105. And in this purport, the reason of, again, mentioning of Anantasesh is given. It is said that when Brahma Vimohan Lila was happening, Lord Balaram also, momentarily, he was bewildered. He saw that all the cowherd men, cowherd women, all the gopas, gopis, and all the cows were attracted to their children. They were attracted to their children as much as they were attracted to Lord Krishna. But this was not the case before. So Lord Balaram was bewildered. Balaram thought, how come all these gopas and gopis are attracted to their own children? And actually Balaram himself was attracted to the cowherd boys and the calves. It is explained that Balaram himself was attracted as much as he was attracted to Krishna. So for a moment, Balaram thought, maybe this is some Maya, some mystic power that is acting here. Then immediately, in a moment, he understood that is Krishna's Maya. This is Krishna himself. Krishna is doing this. This is all expansions of Krishna. So now, if all these great personalities, if they are bewildered, then what to speak of us? And what to speak of this great scholar, Digvijay Pandit? It's very easy for us to get bewildered. So we have to take complete shelter of Krishna. We have to take complete shelter of our acharyas, our Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada. That's our only protection. Holy name, that's our only protection. Without this, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for us to cross over Maya. Verse 106. Manushya e saba karya asambhava bada teni bali tara sakala karya dada. It is impossible for ordinary living entities to understand the activities of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, his activities are transcendently glorious. Text 107. Mule yata kichu karma karena ishvare sakaline stara hetu dukkita jivere. In fact, the activities performed by the Supreme Lord are all meant for the deliverance of the conditioned souls. So, the first verse says that it is impossible for the living entities to understand the activities of the Supreme Lord. Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita, he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So Brahma knows that Krishna is the cause of all causes. But Brahma, he does not know everything about Krishna. He only has a little bit idea of Krishna. And this he comes to know after the Brahma Vimohana Leela. Before that, Brahma did not know anything about Krishna. It's almost like he knows nothing about Krishna. Only by the mercy of Krishna, Brahma was able to understand little bit of Krishna. He understood that Krishna is Sarvakarana Karanam, cause of all causes. But our acharyas explain that Krishna being Sarvakarana Karanam is a insignificant aspect of Krishna's Ishvara Tattva. It is very insignificant aspect of Krishna's Ishvara Tattva. So what is more than that? It is said, Lord Krishna is explained, Ishvara Tattva of Krishna is explained in this way. It is said, Kartum akartum anyata kartum sarva samartha. Sa Ishvara. What is Ishvara? Ishvara is one who is kartum akartum anyata kartum sarva samartha. Kartum means one who can do, one who has a power to do everything. Akartum means one who cannot do. And then anyata kartum, but still he can do. That is Krishna, and he has all capabilities. Sarva samartha. He can do anything and everything. So that is Ishvara. We see even in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Shuta Goswami, he is explaining about various incarnations, Lord Shiva, Ramachandra, the Vishnu expansions, the controllers, all of this. After he explains, he says, Ete chamsa kala pumsa krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam rudhyanti yuga yuga. Shuta Goswami, he says that all of these personalities that I've explained, these are all expansions, amshas of Krishna, or they are kala of Krishna. Kala means expansions of expansions, or expansions of expansions of expansions of Krishna. But Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Krishna is the avatari, everyone else is avatar. So Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So it is impossible to understand the activities of Krishna, especially for conditioned souls like us. It is very difficult. But by taking shelter of the Shastras, by taking shelter of our Acharyas, we'll be able to get a little bit glimpse or little bit understanding of Krishna. But as we practice our bhajan, as we purify our heart, as we achieve perfection, we'll be able to understand Krishna completely. And then the next verse 107, it says that whatever activities Krishna performs, it is only meant for the deliverance of all the conditioned souls. This we see Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita also. Suhrudam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna is the well-wisher of all living entities. Krishna does all his pastimes only for us, so that we can get attracted to Krishna, we can take to the path of bhakti, we can perform bhakti in a loving way, purify ourselves, and then get out of this material world. And that's the only process. We cannot achieve peace. Everyone in this world wants peace, right? Everyone wants peace, but they don't know. Srila Prabhupada says, but people in general, they don't know the peace formula. United Nations or whatever organizations there are, they're all trying to establish peace. But it's not possible because they don't know the peace formula. What is the peace formula? Bhoktaram yatna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrudam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shanti mruchati. One who knows this, one who knows that Krishna is the well-wisher of everyone. Krishna is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Krishna is the recipient of all activities. Krishna is the enjoyer of all activities. Krishna is the Maheshwara, Sarva Loka Maheshwara. He's the proprietor, he's the owner, he's the controller of everyone and everything. One who knows this, Gnatva Mam Shanti Mruchati, they can achieve peace. And same way, even the devotees are also same. Devotees, it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Suhrudam Suhruda Sarva Dehinam. The qualities of sadhus, qualities of Vaishnavas is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said, Titikshva Karunika Suhruda Sarva Dehinam Ajata Shatrava Shanta Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. What are the qualities of a sadhu? What are the ornaments of a sadhu? A materialist, they wear ornaments. They wear gold ring, they wear gold necklace. All of these are their ornaments. Nice watch, nice glasses, nice clothes. All of these are their ornaments. Maybe some degrees, some certificates, some nice job, some nice designations. These are all their bhushana, their ornaments. This is what they decorate themselves with. But what are the ornaments or what are the decorations for a sadhu, for a Vaishnava, for a pure devotee of the Lord? It is given in this verse. Titikshva Karunika Suhruda Sarvadehina Ajata Shatrava Shanta Shantava Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. One of the qualities is Suhruda Sarvadehina. He is always wishing well for all living entities. So by taking shelter of such devotees, we can get peace in our life. So with that, dear devotees, I will stop my discussion. So the essence is that Maya is very, very powerful. And it is very easy for us to get bewildered, especially because we have been in this material world for millions of lifetimes. Krishna Bahirmukh Anadi Jiva Anadi Bahirmukh. We have turned our face away from Krishna Anadi for millions of lifetimes. So we have been in Maya for so long and we have so much contamination in our heart. So it is very easy for us to get bewildered by Maya. And the only way we can protect ourselves is by taking shelter of the holy name, by chanting the holy names offenselessly, and by taking shelter of our senior Vaishnavas, our Guru, our sadhus, Vaishnavas, Acharyas, scriptures. This is how we can protect ourselves from getting bewildered by Maya. Okay, thank you all. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a very wonderful class and very beautifully you glorified Caitanya Bhagavat as you explain why one should read Caitanya Bhagavat and how we get purified. One should not also look for glorification for themselves or get honor for themselves. We should be very, very tolerant and exceptionally humble. Very nice examples you gave of Brahma and Lord Shiva, how they got bewildered by the cowherd boys and by seeing the Mohini Murti, and about the prostitute who was sent for Haridas Thakur and how she became a devotee at the end. Very, very nectarian class. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dear devotees, we open the forum for any questions or realizations for related to the class today. Please do not ask any personal questions as this class is recorded and shared in different forums. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead at this time.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for such a beautiful class. I don't have any questions. As Shivani Mataji said, it's such a beautiful, beautiful class, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Very grateful to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Humble obeisances. Such a beautiful class. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Actually, I was also wondering how Ananta got bewildered. And thank you for describing the pastime with respect to Balaram. That was more like the impression that it was, he's unable to thank enough the glories of the Lord and he's getting bewildered. But yeah, thank you for explaining this. And so thank you so much, Prabhu. Very, very interesting.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving me this opportunity to purify myself by speaking some Harikatha. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, HG Sacipran Gaurahari Prabhu, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada से गुरुदेव जी गोपीनाथ कीजिए. So sincere, आप जितने आपकी वाणी में sincerity है, humility है. I have seen from last 12 years that you and Haridas Mother is serving Vaishnava, making big tray prasadam. Both are working, still making big tray prasadam and serving Vaishnava. So by our own example, we teach a lesson to other Vaishnava that humble, we should do seva, das dasanudas bhav. Thank you, Haridas Prabhu, Haridas Father. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gopinath ki jai, Sachikor Prabhu, Sachikor HG Sacipran Pran Prabhu ji ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Once again, I would like to thank His Grace Sacipran Gaurahari Prabhuji for his wonderful association today and for explaining all the verses so beautifully. Very, very nectarian class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to your wonderful association in the near future. Dear devotees, if there are no more questions or realizations at this time, I would like to pay my obeisances to His Grace Sacipran Gaurahari Prabhuji and all the assembled devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patita naam pavnebhyo vaishnabhyo namo namah. Ananta Vaishnavinda ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Grace Sacipran Gaurahari Prabhu ji ki jai. All Guru and
Prabhupada ki
all
jai.
assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat
Thank you
Pranam.
so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, for
Dandavat Pranam
this
to all
class.
Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna.
I can end the call, Mataji.